Speaking to Bloomberg, Professor Richard Whitman of the University of Kent claimed the Prime Minister will be able to convince Tory rebels to hold fire until the end of the Brexit negotiations, but as Theresa May will come back to Parliament with a finalised deal reached with Brussels, she will be faced with the moment of maximum danger of a leadership challenged by her fellow party members. Professor Whitman has claimed, the international relations lecturer said, "I think the problem that she really has now is when it comes to the crunch point, clearly she is in a position in which she's able to get her critics to hold fire in terms of the moment in which they really have the chance to stick the boot in, and that moment hasn't come yet. But as she finalizes the deal with the EU and when she comes back to Parliament with a package, that's going to be the point of maximum danger for her. Obviously that's the issue that is really going to define her premiership," the Chatham House associate fellow argued. Potential Conservative candidates would not be prepared to replace Theresa May before March 2019, as they would have to pick up the negotiations from the Prime Minister's Chequers proposals and inevitably work on that as the starting point of their premiership. He said, "Who would want the job now? And who would want the job basically picking up the deal that she's done or the deal that she's moved along and try to sell that as a starting point for their new leadership? So I think it's very, very difficult to imagine a situation between now and when the deal is done with the EU, assuming a deal can be done, that you would have a leadership challenge come to the forum." Brexit news: May will face a leadership challenge at the end of the talks, claims Professor Whitman. Image, Getty. When she comes back to Parliament with a package, that's going to be the point of maximum danger. Professor Richard Whitman: "I think most of the candidates who are preparing for a leadership challenge are really preparing to pick things up after her running into difficulties in Parliament." Professor Whitman's comments come as the Prime Minister appeared to have seen off the threat of an imminent leadership challenge on Wednesday evening after Tory MPs put on a noisy show of support at a crunch backbench meeting. Mrs. May was greeted by desk banging and thumping on wooden paneling, traditional indications of approval among Tory MPs, at the weekly gathering of the party's powerful 1922 committee at Westminster. And while she faced a string of probing questions about her approach to the Brexit talks, an attempt to trigger a vote of no confidence in her leadership failed to materialize. Theresa May's allies insisted she had won the room and hoped the recent spate of speculation about coup plot had been laid to rest. One source close to the Prime Minister said, "It was very supportive, but some critics complained the meeting had been staged, managed by party whips." Mrs. May faced the meeting of the 1922 committee, made up of all the party's backbench MPs, following angry criticism of her concessions to the EU from Eurosceptics. MPs expecting a vote of no confidence in Mrs. May's leadership were left disappointed. Rumours had swept Westminster in recent days that 1922 committee chairman Sir Graham Brady had received at least 48 letters demanding the move, enough to trigger a confidence vote under party rules.